I used to play a ton of video games, but like a lot of people, life just got in the way and I stopped. But I recently decided to jump back into one, and wow, I was immediately reminded of just how powerful they are. I was actually looking forward to the end of my workday just so I could log on. And it really got me thinking.
What is the secret sauce here? What makes these games so addictive? And more importantly, could we take that magic, bottle it up, and use it on our own goals, on our jobs, our habits, the stuff we know we should do but just can't seem to get excited about? Okay, let's figure this out.
All right, here's our quest map for today. First, we're going to frame life as the ultimate RPG, and then get into the brain science behind what really motivates us. After that, we'll dive into the practical stuff, the 5 key elements you need to build your own system, all the way from your first baby steps to staying in the game for the long haul. And finally, we'll see how you can press start.
So, let's start with this core concept. Thinking of your life as the ultimate role-playing game, or RPG. These games are a perfect model for us, because really, they're all about growth and leveling up, just like life. The secret here, it isn't just about cool stories or amazing graphics. No, at a deep, biological level, the best games are basically masterfully designed dopamine delivery systems. They know exactly which buttons to push in our brain's motivation circuit. So what is this system? Let's break down the science of what's called the dopamine trail. This is the psychological path that game designers lay out brick by brick to keep you completely hooked. Now, for anyone who isn't familiar, a lot of people call dopamine the pleasure chemical, but that's not quite right. It's really the motivation chemical. It's that feeling of wanting something, that drive, that desire that makes you chase a goal. It's about the pursuit, not just the prize at the end.
And this analogy just hits the nail on the head. Game designers are absolute masters at dangling this carrot just out of reach, always keeping you pushing forward, always hungry for what's next. The goal here is to learn how to dangle that carrot for yourself. This dopamine trail, it's not some random accident. It's built on 5 very specific key elements. These are the psychological triggers that games use to make progress feel amazing and keep us coming back for more. So let's break them down one by one.
All right, our very first quest is to understand structure. This is the foundation of any good game, and it all starts with just knowing what the heck you're supposed to be doing. Think about it. In any game, you always have a main quest, right? Kill the dragon, save the princess. You know the big objective. But in life, well, we have to be the ones to define that main quest. Whether it's writing a book or running a marathon, having that one clear, shining objective is what gives all our little daily actions a real purpose. But you don't just go fight the dragon on day 1, do you? No. Games are brilliant at breaking that massive goal down into smaller bite-sized quests. This creates something called an achievement loop. Every small win, like writing just 1,000 words, gives you a little hit of dopamine, which motivates you for the next step. So the takeaway is huge. Break your big goals down into smaller, winnable quests.
The second element is just as crucial. You have to see that you're getting somewhere. Progress absolutely has to be visible.
Now check this out, because the framing here is everything. A game would never tell you you're 0.7% of the way to the end. How crushing would that be? Instead, it shows you something exciting. You're 70% of the way to the next level. It focuses you on the immediate, achievable win, and that feels so much more motivating.
So how do we actually do this in real life? You've got to track your wins. Write them down. Celebrate them. Every 500 words written, every 3 miles you run, every hour you study. You have to make your own progress bar visible so you can actually see yourself getting closer to that next level up.
All right, let's move on and see how this all connects. We've got our goals. We can see our progress. Now we need the incentives that keep that gameplay loop turning over and over.
So the third element is all about rewards. Would you really bother fighting that dragon if there was no treasure at the end? Probably not. Rewards are just incredibly powerful motivators because even just the anticipation of getting a prize floods our brain with dopamine. But, and this is a huge but, there's a right way and a wrong way to do rewards. See, in games, the rewards actually reward you back. A new sword helps you fight bigger monsters. A bad real-life reward, like eating a whole cake after a week of workouts, actually sabotages your progress. A good reward, like getting new running shoes, reinforces the habit and makes it even easier to keep going. Okay, we've got the structure, we've got the rewards, but how do we stay engaged for the long haul? This is the end game, and it's all about avoiding burnout and boredom. Element number 4 is variety.
Our brains crave new things. Doing the exact same thing over and over and over, that just leads to boredom. But you can introduce variety in really small ways. Try a new exercise, work on a different type of project, or just go study in a new coffee shop. These tiny changes are enough to keep the experience fresh and interesting. And the fifth and final element is the real secret sauce for getting into that amazing flow state. It's all about maintaining an optimal level of challenge. It can't be too hard, can't be too easy, it has to be just right.
You know the feeling. If a task is just way too hard, you get frustrated and you quit. You don't fight the final boss at level 1, right? The solution in real life is to just break that overwhelming task down. Break it into smaller, more manageable pieces, and then tackle the easiest part first to build some momentum.
But then there's the other side of the coin. If a task is mind-numbingly easy, you get bored and you quit. There's no challenge, so there's no fun. A great way to solve this is to increase the difficulty yourself. The easiest trick? Give yourself a time limit. Suddenly, that boring task becomes a race against the clock, and it's way more engaging. So there you have it. That's the playbook, the 5 core elements of a truly compelling gameplay loop. You start with clear objectives and you break them down. You make your progress visible so you can see the wins. You give yourself rewards that actually help you, not hurt you. You add variety to keep things interesting, and you maintain that optimal challenge to stay in the zone. When you combine all of these, you can finally take control of that carrot on a stick and point it wherever you want to go.
By applying these simple game mechanics, you can literally transform tedious tasks into compelling challenges. You can design your own game, a game where you're motivated, you're engaged, and you're constantly leveling up in your own life. So really, the only question left is the one on your screen. Do you accept this quest?